County Sheriff's Office. I'm joined by our local, state, and federal agencies today as we continue search day 7 for Kiely Rodni. To date, we've dedicated over 9,000 man-hours for the search for Kiely. We've ramped up our search for the weekend. Today we have over 200 search and rescuers, including searchers by air and searchers in the water. Our detectives and FBI agents continue to sort through and comb through over 1,000 leads that we've received up until today from the beginning of this search. Yesterday, there was a potential burial site that was located near the campground. It was located by a search and rescue ground team. Kiely's family was notified of the potential development. The FBI responded to secure the scene yesterday and was accompanied by the Placer and Nevada County Sheriff's Offices. FBI agents investigated the site through early this morning and recovered the remains of a dog. Let me be clear. We have one team, one mission, and one goal, and that is to find 16-year-old Kiely Rodni. We will not be holding a community meeting tonight. There's a concert, we understand, to support Kiely's family happening at the Truckee Regional Park from 1 to 4 p.m. We'd like to remind everybody we have set up multiple ways for people to anonymously contact the Sheriff's Office regarding tips. Some of those options are available here to my left. We have an online portal. We also have a tip line that you can call by phone. We also have a link tree that we set up for people who would like to submit any photos and any videos from that evening of the party. You will be able to submit them anonymously without using your name, number, or email address. So again, we still are urging people in the community who may still be hesitant. You're not gonna get in trouble. All we wanna know is, where is Kiely? Where is her vehicle? We just wanna find Kiely. Thank you.
Angela, can you or the officers, can you confirm that her phone, Kiely's phone, the last ping was near the water?
Yeah, the ping for the data points and everything were near the water. It's hard to tell an exact pinpoint or anything like that, but just as much on land as it was in water.
That's what I was told, is that it was near the water, and searches can place near that vicinity. Are those going to continue?
Yeah, today we have 226 searchers, pretty astronomical number. I think the overhead team at the search and rescue, they deployed out all 226 members within about an hour, and so that's a pretty big feat on its own. They've extensively been planning and prepping overnight so that when people get here, we're ready to roll. The area has been walked, driven, flown, grid searched. They're getting into tighter grid searching to, at this point, we're looking for small and anything evidence-wise, as opposed to cars, people, things of that nature, even phones. We're trying to make it even tighter. We had swimmers we announced the other day that actually did surface swimming, so we don't want to disturb the water even underneath, because that can cause its own problems. And divers have been deployed at this point as well to assist in the search, and it's been pretty thorough overall. But yeah, we continue to look for that item as well. Just because it was last pinged there, that doesn't mean that that's where the phone stopped being. There's lots of reasons of why those notifications or data points could be lost.
Can you tell us what body of water and what time that last ping was?
The Prosser Lake is where we're focused on right now. But again, that doesn't mean that that's the last location. So.
When was the ping that you had?
I think the last location known that we've put out, from I think day one is around 12:30 in the morning.
There was, this morning I was out by Prosser and there was a dive team from Alameda. But just a few feet to the side, there were people recreating and people going by in a canoe. Are you not afraid about
Yeah, you balance this, shut everybody out, and we don't have evidence to say that there's something that we're gonna locate. Are you better off having more eyes in the area or not? There's times where we have shut down areas. We closed off the boat ramp at one point in time to to cover like certain area and ground and things like that. So there's always a concern, but we also don't have like a, hey, this is the area. And so at what point do you cut off the entire, Forest Service and things of that nature? So I think we've been reasonable with the areas and times we've had to put in stop gaps to prevent people.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Huda London. I'm a licensed cognitive behavior therapist and a mental health counselor. Today I'd like to discuss a bit about the case of missing Kiely Rodni. Kiely is a 16-year-old girl who graduated high school early. She was last seen at 12:30 at night on the 6th of August, that was on a Friday. Kiely's mother received a text message from Kiely around 11:30 p.m. saying that she wanted to extend her curfew by 45 minutes or an hour. She texted her mother and asked her mother, and apparently the mother said it was okay. And the last word she said to her mother was that she loves her mother, and her mother said, I love you too. Sadly enough, the mother got up 8 a.m. in the morning, and she was surprised because Kiely usually wakes her mother up when she comes home. That is maybe the routine they do. But the mother was surprised that Kiely didn't wake up, so she went to Kiely's room. Kiely wasn't at her room, and then the mother checked the driveway to see if Kiely's silver Honda, the SUV, was parked outside like it usually is, but there was no trace of Kiely, or there was no trace of a silver vehicle. The mother immediately panicked. She drove down to a place where Kiely was supposed to meet a friend. I believe it was in Reno. And the mother did not find Kiely there either. The mother contacted law enforcement immediately, and a search was put up for Kiely. On the third day, I believe on the second day, after Kiely was missing, law enforcement from Nevada County and a couple of other counties nearby and the FBI kind of ruled it as an abduction, since Kiely's vehicle was away and since Kiely wasn't there. Kiely was missing and the vehicle was missing. This is where everything starts to go for the worse. Kiely's friend Sammy, who's 18 years old, attended the party too. According to Sammy, she said that Kiely was in the party and she was drunk towards the end of the night. She was really drunk, intoxicated, and Kiely was swerving around the place, according to the other friend, Maxie or Maxine. Then basically, Sammy said that around 11:30, she and Kiely and a couple of other girls went into Kiely's vehicle because the alcohol beverages was in Kiely's. It was sold in Kiely's car. So they went to fill up their drinks. And then she said we went in the vehicle to charge our phones, their mobile devices, and I assume Kiely was charging her mobile too. Sammy said that Kiely was supposed to drive her home, but when Sammy saw that Kiely was intoxicated, she was kind of concerned, so she decided to take another ride home. There was a party in the campground in Placer, and we heard at the start that there was at least 100 people at the party. Then we heard it was 200 people, and now we're hearing somewhere between 200 to 300 people. Sammy, the 18-year-old friend of Kiely, and the other friend, Max, said that while the party was going on, there was more and more people coming into the party, so it became very crowded. She said there was a lot of adults that were not our age, in the late 20s, early 30s, and even a 40-year-old man was seen there apparently by them. And Kiely is nowhere to be seen since the 6th of August, unfortunately. Kiely's phone was last pinned at near the Placer Lake, according to the sheriff. He said it can be near the land or in the water, near the water, somewhere around there. And that was at 12:30 at night, midnight. I just wanted to share a few of the things that I noticed that kind of concerned me about this case. Sorry. To start with, this is for entertainment purpose only, so I'm not making judgments, just speculations. But there are things that we have to definitely discuss about that can't be ignored. A 16-year-old and 18 years old partying in a campground so late at night, and some of them stayed there, I believe, till the early morning, is kind of concerning, because there was adults who came allegedly with drugs like mushrooms and cocaine that can be lasered with other substances. So there was a lot of drugs and alcohol going on there. There was absolutely no supervision of any adults. I don't understand if this really happened over there, because I was going through the Facebook messages and checking the Facebook pages of missing Kiely, Rodni, and there was even one of the searchers who said it on Facebook that he's been searching for a while, I believe with his wife, and he said that he found it strange that if this ground party took place, and if there were so many people in the campground, he found it, because he lives near those areas, so he found it strange that he said that the sheriffs and all usually drive around those areas at every night, like night watchers. So how come they weren't aware of such a big crowd they would have seen people driving to the campground, and they would have definitely seen movements like cars and people driving up there. They would have seen the lights and all. So they would have definitely gone and investigated what is happening in the woods in the campground. So he believed that he kind of believed that there were lesser people and they weren't 100 and 200 and 300. He believed that it was a smaller gathering, maybe 50 people. And while they were partying, something could have gone wrong. I totally agree with him, because I personally believe, to start with, let me say this. I've seen the sheriffs and the FBI working really hard in this case, but if they can manage to pin Kiely's phone, I wonder why can't they pin down the other phones of the people who were in the party? Since this is a serious abduction case or missing case, they should just go to the courts and get a warrant to pin down all the phones that were in that area between Friday to Saturday morning, from Friday night to Saturday morning. We've heard from Sammy that she was in the car with Kiely and some other girls, and that they were drinking in the car and they were charging up their phones. Let's not forget, all this that we are hearing is from a bunch of teenagers who are drinking, partying, and everything. So obviously, we all have been 16 years old, although times were different when we were younger. There wasn't a lot of mobile device and all, and there wasn't so much drugs and such serious hardcore drugs going around. So if this case became into an abduction case and the FBI is involved, obviously that is going to scare these teenagers or people in their 20s or 30s, whoever were in the campground party. I don't believe anyone's going to come up and say, oh yeah, I have evidence that I was there, and here is I'll download it or upload it to the FBI and to law enforcement. I don't see that coming as a mental health counselor. I don't see that, because we are dealing with teenagers, and I can say that not only as a mental health counselor, I can say that as a parent who has teenagers. Teenagers are not going to tell you where they've been, what they've been doing, and especially when the case is heading towards abduction or allegedly to foul play. Nobody's going to come up. So law enforcement needs to get real and find a better way of getting information from the people who attended the party. Many people would have taken Snapchats and pictures and Be Real app and such things. They would have done that. So if there were like 200-300 people in this area on the Friday night, I'm sure many people have sent the pictures around. So that makes it a bit difficult for me to believe that the gathering was that big. There's many things that don't sit well with me. I'm trying not to speculate, but I've been watching from the start, from the very first news report that came out of Kiely being missing. What concerned me and what really did not sit well with me is Sammy. I'm not judging her, but she is older than Kiely. She's 18 years old. She says that she's Kiely's friend. I don't see any empathy. I do not see any tears. I do not see much sympathy from Kiely's friends. apparently, Sammy did not know Kylie. Sammy and Kylie got to know each other a couple of months ago, but still, there should be some tears, some concerns when you're a friend and when your friend is missing. The thing that doesn't sit right with me is when Sammy said that she took a ride from somebody else, from some other people. She took a ride home and she left the 16-year-old girl who was probably, like she said herself, she was drinking and she was drunk. Kylie could have got some drugs in her system that she could have overdosed, and these people could have panicked. I'm being honest. This is just my personal opinion about it, because I think that Kylie's friends look they don't look like they're coming out with the complete truth. Then you have Sammy talking to the crowd on the microphone and saying that she's telling the other people who are in the party, the other juveniles, to come forward, and your parents can drive you up here and they need to drive back quickly. Don't let them drive you the whole way, and they have to be as far as possible so that sorry guys, so that they can't see y'all and y'all can't see them. It seems like Sammy is making all the calls here. She's acting like she is law and enforcement, so that doesn't sit quite right with me. She could be possibly, this is allegedly, I believe she could be possibly trying to run the show and she may want all the information to come through her so that she can know what to cover up and what not to cover up. It doesn't sit well with me when she said that at 11:30 they all sat in the car, in Kylie's car, and they were, what's it called? They were basically filling up their drinks with alcohol beverages and all. And she said the alcohol was saved in Kylie's car. So I wonder if Kylie got into any serious drugs, or somebody could have given her drugs without her knowing. She could have been thinking that she's smoking a joint and she could have had something else in her system. Especially usually when a person is drunk, a lot goes through their mind and they don't think, their decision making is not there properly, let's be honest. So I wonder if something happened to Kylie. God forbid, maybe she overdosed. That's what I thought from day one. And if she overdosed, these juveniles was making an illegal party with drugs and alcohol and whatsoever. And like we're hearing, there were adults in the party. I don't know if Sam is just trying to say that because we haven't heard that from many other people. So if something happened to Kylie, just say, God forbid, she overdosed, then they could have panicked. These are all people who are drunk on mushrooms, on cocaine, on high drugs. They could have panicked, done a cover up. Somebody could have drove Kylie's vehicle off and saved it in a garage or something and hid it off. Or it is a possibility that somebody saw poor Kiely drunk and in a vulnerable situation, and they took advantage of it and told her that maybe give me the keys and I'll drive you home. I'm heading that direction too. It's very possible. And they could have done something to Kylie. So there's no proper way to put it. This looks like it's a foul play. Unless Kiely had an accident and her car drove into the lake, but then I believe there would have been tire marks on the sand or on the area near the lake. They have been searching for 7 days, and I do understand the water is 57 meters deep, but still, I believe that they would have, because there's so many, I believe there's 16 law enforcement officers involved, plus the FBI at the start. Yeah, not only at the start, up to today, there are over 200 volunteers involved searching the places. And after reading a bit about it in the Facebook, I really believe that the party and the crowd wasn't as big as Sammy and her friend Maxine or Max is saying. There could have been few people in the gathering, and something could have gone terribly wrong since there was so much drugs and alcohol that was being distributed there. Anything is possible. And they could have, when they saw, God forbid, if they saw poor Kiely, because she's a young, petite little girl who's 16 years old. She could have been drinking from 6, 7 in the evening, and she could have got the mushrooms or cocaine or something in her body that she overdosed on. And I'm sure the other people, her friends, her so-called friends, could have panicked, and somebody could have drove her vehicle and Kiely and hid the vehicle and hid Kiely somewhere. Unless the other second possibility can be that it's abduction. Like I said, she could have asked somebody to drive her, or somebody could have insisted that, let me drive you, I'm going down that area too. And they could have got rid of Kiely and taken her vehicle, or got rid of Kiely and the vehicle, since it's FBI missing case now. There's so many ways to think of it, but it doesn't look good since it's 7 days. I wonder why law enforcement, especially now that the FBI is involved so early in this case, I believe they should have put up an Amber Alert. And I believe that the FBI should have started getting a warrant to pin down all the phones that were in that area on Friday to Saturday, because there's a couple of towers, maybe 1 or 2 towers, that they can get the network connection and pin up the phones that were in the area. It's just strange that nobody has put out pictures from the teenagers and juveniles of the party. That's the reason I don't believe that this was a big gathering, like Sammy's saying. When I look at Sammy and when she's talking, it just seems like she's hiding something, and it's like she wants all the information to go through her. So that's a red flag itself for me. She acts like the spokesman of the family, but yet again she did not know Kiely so well. It's concerning that she refused to take a ride home with Kiely because she was concerned and worried for her safety. She thought that Kiely was too drunk to drive. And if that was the case, why would she let a 16-year-old girl drive home in that condition? She said she knows the parents of Kiely. Why didn't she just call them? I know teenagers at that age do not want to be snitching or be snitches, but then if my friend especially if I was 18 and my friend was 16, and such things happen, I would have made sure that I, I got a lift, I got a ride not only for myself, for her too. I would have taken her keys for the vehicle from her and made sure that somebody drove her home safely. It just seems like there's something fishy going on here. I really believe there's a cover up and foul play. The boyfriend himself, or the ex-boyfriend, was kind of a bit... I can't judge him, but I believe there's something not right with him either. Because once he addressed himself on the news as the boyfriend, and then later on he said he was the ex-boyfriend. I usually believe one lie leads into thousands of lies. He would know the difference of being a boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. So for him to tell that to the news, and he was so confident that he said, me and Kate, the other friend who was standing near him, and he said, and another person, 3 of us can find her, and I know she's safe there. Why would he be so confident that she's safe when the whole world is concerned and when her parents are concerned? I really want to know how well Sammy and Max know each other. I really like to know how well Sammy and Kiely's ex-boyfriend know each other. I wonder if, since the ex-boyfriend said he called Kiely and she was in the party and he was telling her of his problems and what a horrible day he's had, and she told him to take it easy and she wasn't happy that he had a bad day. I really wonder if he called Kiely back again and he told Kiely to meet him somewhere, and while they were drinking, something happened. A dog was found buried yesterday, so I don't know if that is related anything to the case. You can imagine people who are, not even people, youngsters who are on cocaine and mushroom and alcohol, anything is possible. They could have been trying to do some kind of a movie stunt, or they could have killed the dog and buried the dog. Let's be honest. Since there's debris in the sand, and like since they found the dog, maybe they're getting closer to something. I just feel sorry for poor Kiely. In that age, I hate to say it, but teenagers come into a lot of mischief and all. There's a lot of hate, jealousy could be involved. Since Kiely was the one driving, she looked like she finished high school at a young age. She looked like a smiley, happy girl. Sammy said that the alcohol was stored in her car. I wonder if they were using Kiely. Another thing that I wonder is, it's not a far stretch, but could it be possible that Kiely's phone was at the campground party, but Kiely maybe was somewhere else? This could be a setup too, but I don't believe in that one that much. I just believe that something went wrong and Sammy is aware of it and Max is aware of it. All of these people, I believe, are aware of it. They must have just tried to cover up by saying that there were 300, because they started by saying 100 people were there. Then they said, oh no, it was close to 200. Then later on they said 300. Then she came back to 100. So if there was such a big crowd, the person on Facebook was talking about it, who wrote down a bit about it, and he was searching thoroughly in the searches. He said that he doesn't live far from there, and he knows that that place at night time, at least once or twice at night, the sheriffs, the sheriffs and yeah, from the sheriff's office, the police do take trips like security and check around those areas to make sure everything is safe. And if these people were partying, obviously there'll be a lot of screenshots, like a lot of, like, you know, when they're taking pictures, all the lights and all the flashes and all, that can draw attention to. Something isn't sitting right in this case, and I really hope that they come to the bottom of this soon. There was a couple of things that I've written here that I wanted to actually discuss about. The red flags that I actually noticed. Yeah, this was very important. Sammy said that there was a friendly fight, and the police was interested in that too. She said that they had boxing gloves there, and they would let people fight each other, but it was just a friendly fight. That they were like whoever wins gets a big trophies and such things. Now think to yourself, why would they be having friendly fights if they are trying to be discreet and they're 16, 17, 18-year-old teenagers over there? That doesn't make sense. So this seems to be something that was planned since they had the time to get boxing gloves. Drugs and alcohol was definitely involved. That plays a major part in all this. And yeah, the part that I said that how come the police that check around those areas at least once or twice a night. You can imagine when they're partying with loud music, lights, and such things, it would have drawn attention. I don't understand why the police aren't getting a warrant to pin down every phone in that area, because obviously these juveniles and the 20s and 30 years old, whoever was involved, ain't coming and telling the police that, yeah, this is what I saw and this is what happened and such things. That ain't going to happen. It's been 7 days, so they should be taking other moves so that they can find out what happened to Kiely and save her if it's possible. Yeah, the young man was talking about it in Facebook. He said that he was with the searchers and he was searching around the place, and he didn't see that the terrain was disturbed at all. Now that is important too. So if just say if Kiely's SUV drove into the lake, he said that you would have seen a lot of disturbance in the terrain around the areas. So nothing of that nothing of that happened. And I found it kind of a red flag when Sammy said that Kiely called her at 12:25 to ask her if she got a ride at home. Why would Kiely call Sammy when they already kissed each other goodbye and said their farewells? And let's not forget, Sammy kept on saying, and everybody saying Kiely was really drunk and all that. So why would somebody who's really drunk and on high on drugs, allegedly, call when they've already said goodbye to you? Why would she call to check if she got a ride at home? Because let's not forget, Sammy said, I told Kiely clearly that I wouldn't be taking a ride from her. I don't see any empathy. I don't see any tears from any of our friends, not even from Kiely's ex-boyfriend. He's very confident that Kiely will be brought back home safe by him, like he's some kind of superhero or something. So I really don't understand. Something does not sit right here. It's been 7 days. There's so many law enforcement that are involved. Something would have come up by now. If Kiely was in the lake, yeah, obviously when a car falls in the lake, it kind of, it's up in the water surface for a while, and then it starts drowning and going down to the edge of the water. So unless she's deep down inside the 57 meters deep, I don't see Kiely honestly being found anytime soon, unless she's in the water, because I believe something happened since these people were dealing with heavy drugs. Mushrooms are known to hallucinate people. Sometimes they don't even work at once. Because I remember that when I was in university and we were doing our counseling, I believe it was not the fourth year, I believe it was the second or third year, we were learning about certain drugs. Mushrooms was one of them, and all the side effects it has, and how to help clients that suffer of addictions and all that. Cocaine, we all know what it does to the brain. So if all these things were being passed around, although Kiely was a smart little girl, it doesn't help. These are young teenagers. Their brains are not developed till they're 25, 26 years old. So they do make wrong decisions and quick decisions. So if something went wrong in this party, I can see a big cover-up happening, honestly. For me, it looks like either it's abduction or either it's foul play. If it's an accident and Kiely drove into the water, I still believe I can't blame anyone. We can't blame anyone for Kiely's decisions, but I still believe her friends are evil people to have left her in that situation. Sammy is 18 years old. She should have been the older one, like her older sister. And like she got a ride home, she should have made sure to get a ride for Kiely first and put Kiely with safe people. But I don't understand, if all these youngsters were drunk on alcohol and on heavy drugs, we're lucky that it didn't turn out to be a major incident of these youngsters ending up in car crashes and all. They all were high and drunk. And it's not like their parents were coming to drive them home. Then we have the guy who called in a YouTube show, and he was saying that his cousin sisters who are younger than him saw Kiely at the party around 10 at night, 10 to 10:30. She was really drunk and she was really high. And he said there were older men over there distributing drugs to take advantage of the teenage girls. This is really sad. I hope they get a warrant, the FBI and law enforcement, and pin down. Just like they pinned down Kiely's phone, they can manage to pin down every other person's phone who's been in that area, because these people are not coming out clean. So the caller that called in, I really don't believe that he was talking earlier about his cousins. It sounded like he was one of the people who were there, and he was trying to give us hints the way I understood it from the call. I wonder why his cousins wouldn't come and talk, since if they were just, but obviously they all were drinking and on drugs, so nobody's going to come here and make a confession. I feel sorry for Kiely's mother and father. I feel sorry for Kiely. Number one, she's the victim. I hope she gets found. I'm not going to judge any parent or any child, But I wish Kylie's mother made better decisions. She should have found out where Kiely was going exactly to. I know teenagers lie a lot and they try tricks with all of us. But 16 years old with the SUV, so late at night. If I was the mother, I would have asked her when she called and she said, "Can I have a bit more time to come home?" I would have said kind of, "Yeah, and where are you now?" Just to get a quick idea. And I would have drove up there since it's only 38 minutes from their house. The mother said that Kylie is a very smart youngster and she is very responsible and all that, but she's 16 years old. She's only 16, she's a baby. I think some parents give their children too much access to freedom, and that can be very dangerous. It's not good to be too strict to a child, but it's not good to be too lenient on a child, especially at 16 years old. I don't care if she graduated early or late. It's 7 days. 8 days has gone, so it's getting really concerning. I hope any teenagers who at that party decide to help out, because this is a 16-year-old girl who needs to be brought home safely. Unless Kylie is deep in the waters, in the lake, I really believe, this is my personal opinion, guys, I really believe that this is foul play or abduction. I hope that we all learn something from these missing awareness cases, that there are many cruel, evil, hateful people out in the world. We should look after our children, our teenagers, because yes, they finish high school and they want to go and explore the world, but they're still kids. They are still children. There's no excuse there. And for Kylie's vehicle not to be found, I believe that's the reason. I believe more like it's either she's underneath the lake, either it's abduction, and somebody got rid of Kylie in a car, or either it's a foul play from one of the friends or a couple of the friends, which I may fall more into the third one with the friends, because a lot of lies seems to be coming out and people who live in that area are saying that they didn't hear of any big gathering of 100 or 200 or 300 people. Maybe it was just the picture we saw of the people standing in the crowd. It didn't look like there were more than 50, 60 people there. Unless later on people came, like Sammy said. But I don't understand, why would Sammy leave a 16-year-old alone? She said that I was concerned to take the car to let Kylie drive me home, but then she wasn't concerned to make sure that Kylie, I would have taken the keys out of Kylie and I would have put her on the lift that I got home and drove her home. Maybe Kylie was thinking that I need to drive home because my mom's waiting and I can't park the car in the place, a county place. But I'm sure her mother wouldn't have minded if the car was parked there. It's better that the vehicle is stolen than your daughter. So it's really sad. This is a tragedy. I hope the ex-boyfriend and Sammy speaks more and spill more beans, hopefully. But law enforcement shouldn't be wasting their time. They should go get a warrant and pin down all the phones if they haven't done that already. They need to find out how large or how small this party was. But like the guy on Facebook said, the terrains weren't disturbed. He said he doesn't live far away from that area, so he would have heard if there was such a big gathering there. He said law enforcement, the police usually drive up there once or twice a night. And he said it's very true. He said that if there was a big crowd going up and down those areas, he said the law enforcement would have noticed and gone after them and dispersed the party. So something is not right here. Guys, please leave down your comments. Let me know what y'all think about this. And I hope that Kiely is brought home safe. Last but not least, I would love to thank all my subscribers. Thank you for the kind comments, the mindfulness, the respect, and everything I get from y'all. I hope you're having a lovely summer holidays. I guess most of the school kids in America, the children are going back to school and all. We still have a month left because we get our holidays in mid-July. So we have up to the 10th, 8th of September before our holidays are over. I'm wishing everyone the best. Have a pleasant evening. Thank you. Stay blessed and good night.